from Fresh and Fit. How you guys doing, bro?
Oh, we're doing great. Thanks for having us again.
Yep.
What's up, G?
We did a fire show yesterday as well on crypto. But what's happening, man? What's new with you guys?
Well, I mean, today, I think when the last time we were on the stream, right, we were talking, and I had the Bitcoin chart just pulled up on my phone. I wish I could have shared it. We'll probably be able to pull something up here today.
Yeah, we can pull it up.
But I was saying that one of the daily candles, I think it was for last Thursday, had like been sold off down into support and then got bought back up again. And I said that's usually a sign that, you know, basically there's not much more sell pressure and we're probably going to start going up, especially if we start hitting certain resistance levels. And today, I mean, the price on Bitcoin went from that around that 105,500, which it was at when we were on the show on Friday, to 108, 109,000. It only really needs to break about, I would say, 109,500 to 110,000, maybe 111 would be obviously very good confirmation. But once we get those prices hit in terms of daily closes, then we're probably going to start going up to like $115,000, $117,000, and that's when all the altcoins start moving as well. So I think we were kind of talking about it on Friday, but it's kind of the counter trade to the war, right? And I know a lot of people sometimes aren't used to like, hey, there's stuff going on in the world. How does that affect markets? And sometimes they're not used to stuff. Well, I mean, they're used to gold, which basically
Store value.
is a store of value, goes up and does well when there's times of crisis, obviously. And Larry Fink from BlackRock's been building that narrative on Bitcoin since about 2022, 2023, because they knew they were going to get into the ETF. So I think the counter trade to any global volatility this year, both in terms of economic volatility as well as geopolitical, is Wall Street's choice is Bitcoin. And so we're going to start seeing that, I think. And people will be kind of shocked. I think there was somebody in the chat that said, you guys are trading crypto when there's war going on. You guys are fucking insane.
War
right?
profiteers. That's correct.
And it's like, yeah, Bitcoin is that nice hedge against all that type of volatility. And so I think this is going to be the first one where on the world stage people will finally see that.
Because you can't really turn it off. It can be traded 24/7, 365. If people need to move a ton of money over, like if they just need to run away, move. I mean, I've always thought if China ever imploded, a lot of money will be smuggled through Bitcoin, Ethereum, and just stable coins. Mostly through Bitcoin and Ethereum, because with stable coins, they could freeze your money if they find out, you know, it's from illicit activities or just anything in general. But you know, we're starting to get a little bit of action in the markets right now because, you know, Coinbase, along with a bunch of other companies, have filed something called the S1, which is basically Coinbase is filing in a Solana ETF, which we said was going to happen.
Yeah, they've already filed their ETF applications a while back for spot Solana ETFs,
Correct.
but there wasn't any urgency by the SEC to basically go ahead and approve those. Now they said the SEC, whenever they say, hey, just refile your S1, what it basically means is like if you all refile and everything, then we're pretty much going to approve it. Because when that happened for Bitcoin, that happened on October of 2023, and then Bitcoin spot ETF was approved by January 10th, 2024. So within about 3 months. So it kind of starts the hourglass time countdown for Solana for that spot ETF to get approved. If Solana spot ETF gets approved, it's likely the staking ETF for Ethereum is going to get approved. And then also on July 2nd, there's a final deadline for a basket of coin ETFs. So it's Ripple, Dogecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a few others that are going to be in that basket. If that gets approved, then it's like, well, why aren't all these other coins approved? And so then come October, November, when the final deadlines come for the other ETFs for, you know, SUI and other cryptocurrencies, those ones then will start to get approved as well. So right now you from that, right, you had the rumor speculation 3 months before Bitcoin got its ETF for all that accumulation. Then it actually dipped when the ETF came out. And then we ran for 3 more months. So we had about a 6-month bull market in terms of like just craziness in the market. So I think that's where we're starting now. We're starting the speculation now. Then the Solana ETF gets approved in July, August, maybe September at latest. The other ETFs, one of them gets approved maybe in July, and then other ones get approved in October, November. And like that just is like enough, what do you call it, ammunition for crypto to kind of just like people will be constantly buying, especially from Wall Street between now and the end of the year.
Yeah.
Because I can see a trend where the big players are actually going to buy gold and Bitcoin.
Yep.
Like, they're stocking up on that right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also, you know, also, right, like this is something that Charlie brought to my attention that, so we had essentially a Bitcoin ETF that was essentially like a stock, right, which is like MicroStrategy. And it was basically what's happening is that the SEC is getting worried that if they don't start releasing some of these ETFs for these other coins, very rich people will just buy a shell corporation that's on the NASDAQ or something, or the S&P 500, or figure out a way essentially to take a corporation and just basically lever it up where it's essentially just an Ethereum ETF.
Yeah.
Levered out ETF or
brute force ETF.
Yeah, brute force ETF. That's what Michael Saylor did with like MicroStrategy. When Bitcoin goes up, it goes up more because it's like they're borrowing money to buy more Bitcoin, and every time the stock goes up, they borrow more money from the stock to buy more Bitcoin, so they end up owning more Bitcoin. So it also drives up the price of Bitcoin too. So it's kind of I wouldn't say Ponzi-ish, but like in a way it sort of is, because they're using a lot of leverage, and they're afraid that like the SEC, even though the SEC is very pro crypto, they're afraid like, oh shit, if this becomes a trend, then we'll have a ton of leverage. Maybe Charlie will tell you with Joe Lubin a little bit with what happened there with the corporation he was trying to do, but that you'll end up having 10 or 15 corporations where they're just the cryptos keep pumping and and then they keep borrowing more money, so it can make the market very levered out.
Yeah.
Just because they have access to all this cheap capital from the stock market. Buy these low cap cryptos, keep sending them higher, and then just manipulating and then finding ways to essentially, because they know when to buy it because they be able to long it essentially and just keep making, so it becomes this huge thing until eventually, bam,
and
something breaks.
You want to pull out the Bitcoin chart now, or?
Yeah, whatever you want to do. Like,
I mean, I know you. We just have it on the side in case they need it. That's all.
Okay, thanks.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to add on to what he was saying there, because it's a lot of there's a lot of bullish news in crypto right now. There's just a lot of stuff going on. And the SEC, when they see a company like this, so MicroStrategy did that for Bitcoin before the spot Bitcoin ETF. This company called SharpLink is the one that Joseph Lubin, he's an old Ethereum OG. He helped basically start up in the early days. He owns Consensus, which is one of the biggest crypto organizations out there. They own MetaMask, which is one of the biggest wallets as well. And so he was like, okay, we're going to take this SharpLink company. We're going to make not because we already have the spot Ethereum ETF, but they wanted it with staking. And so they basically said, okay, we're going to push this staking one forward. And then the SEC was basically like, well, we don't want that to become a trend where a bunch of crypto companies just start zombieing out like different organizations, because they bought over the board. Basically, he's on the board now, and kind of BlackRock strategy, right? And so they don't want that to happen. So that's why they're like, refile your S1s for Solana. We'll get those done, and then they're basically working their way down that throughout the year. But there's a lot of speculation. Will that work for something that is not as scarce as Bitcoin? I think the SharpLink stock went from like $30 to $90 on the first few days of trading, and then it crashed back down to 30 basically. So it'll be an interesting experiment to see how that works out. But they're basically like, let's find as many ways to get people to buy Ethereum and stuff before the end of the bull market, so that way we can get price to go up.
Yeah, and then like if you look at it, right, the top holders of it, like in terms of organizations that hold Ethereum, the Ethereum Foundation, the corporation Charlie was just talking about, the Pulse Chain, like Sack Wallet. So there's like a whole list of like the top holders now, and like people are starting to accumulate Ethereum now. That's why like it's starting to move a little bit more. Like if Bitcoin pumps, Ethereum starts pumping the same or even more now. And like now Vitalik has kind of changed his tune a little bit. He fired a lot of people from the foundation, just basically old heads, guys who've been around too long. They've been rich too long. And it's like, let's get some new blood in here, and we need fresh ideas, and we're going fresh ideas, right? But we need to start we need to get away a little bit from the L2s. And like because I'm pretty sure someone's going to ask, like some of these L1s and L2s haven't performed, like they've done okay, but they haven't done crazy. And one of the reasons for that is because Ethereum is really like the actual like powerhouse of all of crypto now. And I mean that without like, Bitcoin's like a reserve currency. It's our gold. It's our, long term, you buy a Bitcoin, if you can put it away, you'll be worth millions of dollars one day, right? But Ethereum, the higher the price of Ethereum goes up, the more everything, like, I mean, everything from like Arbitrum, OP, Matic, Pulse Chain, Sonic, Solana, it's because you can move Ethereum into any chain, because all the tech that we use in crypto, so there's like the tech for crypto not to be fucked with comes from Bitcoin, but all the evolution of the rest of the tech where you can move your money, use bridges, borrow money, use dexes, make meme, it all comes from Ethereum. It's all Ethereum. Yep. So this is why Ethereum is literally like, there's only two blue chips, in all of crypto. It's Bitcoin and Ethereum. Even though the Bitcoiners hate fucking hearing that, it's the absolute truth. This is why Ethereum was the only other one to get a spot ETF, and it's very close now. So,
but isn't Bitcoin old technology? It's like old.
Yes.
Yeah, of course, yeah, but it doesn't mean it's bad technology. You know, it's like it's revolutionized. I mean, like basically, no one can take your money.
Right.
You can send your money anywhere across the world. It doesn't turn off. There's people mining Bitcoin all over the planet. Like someone said something really stupid in the chat. If electricity goes out, there goes crypto. Well, there goes the rest of the planet too. You don't understand. If there's a solar flare that go like from the sun that goes out and knocks out all technology, the whole world's got problems. How many people are going to die in hospitals?
Yeah.
I mean, how many people? I mean, like your cell phone's if there's really a solar flare, right? EMP, right? Your cell phone's dead. Most of the pictures you've ever taken are dead. The cloud's gone. Almost all tech's gone, basically. We have to rebuild it all. Telephone wires are all fried, and it's happened before. I think it happened in the 1800s. Like there were, I think there was like sort of like those little like kind of Morse code sort of towers, like they all got fried out through like a solar flare one time in the past. I think it was like in the 1800s and stuff like that. But the tech was barely being built, so it just got rebuilt really quickly. It was kind of no harm, no foul. But like, if it happened today, it'd be a major problem. But we'd have huge problems across the planet. It would be, I mean, we'd have more problems. I mean, the stock market would be tanking like crazy. Crypto would be hurting, but crypto would survive too. It's still, there's backups everywhere, and you know, people are putting things in place to protect it. There's always one crazy motherfucker in a van that'll run a node, you know. So, but it's the same sort of thing. It's just like, what do you think is going to happen with crypto? World War III starts, dog. If World War III starts, we got bigger problems.
Issues.
We got bigger problems, man.
Absolutely.
So we're going to do the phone lines for you guys in the chat as well.
Yeah, so you guys can actually get questions and stuff like that, right? Give you kind of an overview of what's going on in the market. But, you know, obviously the best thing here is to answer your guys' questions. Call to the show, 646-490-0394. You get access to Charlie and Miguel and ask them your questions, guys. So also, just so you guys know, course is out. It's going to be open for how much longer?
Until the 23rd, so a week.
Okay. It'll be open for a week, guys. So get in while you guys can, man. A lot of you guys messaged me after the fact, bro, can I get in? Are there any more spots? Bro, and it's closed. So let's go ahead and hit the phone lines. Again, 646-490-0394 is the number to call into the show, man. You guys have any questions or whatever, the way we'll do it as usual is if you super chat in the last 4 digits of your number, that will help you cut the line. And then, you know, we just work our way down from there.
Don just said Judas got paid with crypto. You funny, bro. What the fuck? That's crazy.
Who got paid?
Judas, like back in the day.
Oh.
Judas Iscariot.
You got paid with silver?
Yeah, I know he said with crypto, but it's silver. Yeah, it's funny. All right.
But yeah, if you want to jump on some of the charts, I can show you guys kind of where we're thinking.
Oh yeah, they're right here. We got it.
Oh, they up right now on the screen?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can see on the
Bitcoin's
left.
up.
We can show it up right now.
Oh,
go.
okay, cool.
Yeah, if you want. And Mo, could you also pull up this website called what do you call it? BitcoinMagazinePro.com.
BitcoinProMagazine.com.
Yeah.
BitcoinMagazinePro.com.
Bitcoin Magazine.
Or just Google that, and then I think it should come up. But yeah, for Bitcoin right here, I mean, it's been a nice
pretty
ride.
chart. What a pretty chart, huh?
Yeah, not bad up and to the right, right? But yeah, what you're seeing there is Bitcoin's entire history.
The all time is 107 or 108.
111.
111. Okay.
111 is the all-time high. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we're right there. But look, this is the entire history from it being a fraction of a penny to $108,000, $106,000 asset class. Like, I mean, $2 trillion.
Imagine if you sold for some pizza. Yeah, I'll be pissed, bro.
That's what I think. I think that's
bro.
$1 billion now.
It is $1 billion.
I think it's $1 billion. Yeah. Like, you can scroll. You can actually scroll down on this website right here. Like, scroll down. There is on. It might be on the right-hand side or the left-hand side.
Yeah, it's on the way left-hand side, I think.
Yeah, on the way left-hand side. You can actually type in Bitcoins and it'll tell you how much dollars. Like, put $10,000 there.
At the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, at the top. At the top for the Bitcoin. 10,000 Bitcoin.
Oh, 10,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah, a billion. Yeah.
Wow.
Sheesh.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. He was doing it as a way because he wanted to prove you could buy stuff with it. But he's like, yeah, dog, I should have kept some of that. And then the guy he sold the pizza to, the dude sold the Bitcoin off. Fuck you. Oh my God.
Yeah, and when if the guy, what do you call it, had that much Bitcoin just to spend on pizza, he had like, that was just his pocket change. That guy's probably just fucking loaded. But
I'd be telling 2 people, no, I sold it all. I don't have any more Bitcoin left. Why would you want to be, if you have that much Bitcoin, you don't want to be a target.
No,
Yeah.
You're a massive target.
and Mo, did you find that website or?
Yeah, we're just still sharing the screen.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you could
yeah.
if you could pull that one up. I want to there's just one specific thing I want to show in terms of like why we're targeting certain numbers, but yeah, pretty much 150,000 plus or about 160,000 plus is a number that we're if Bitcoin gets into a bull market the way it has gone the last few cycles, it should get above that price. If you go to charts, go to Bitcoin charts, just hover over it. There you go. And then let's see, in the search metrics on the top left, just type in golden. Just type in golden and see. There we go. That one right there. Just yep. There you go. So this is a really simple chart. And then Mo, can you just it allows you to make a box. Could you make the box over the bottom? Yeah, right there. Right. Press right there. Oh no, go down and to the right, and then up. There's about 2022 until now, basically all price action. If you could kind of like, there you go, perfect.
Yeah.
And then make it. Yeah, it's kind of hard. It's kind of, the website's a little wonky. Yeah, get a little closer to it. There you go. Like from $1,000 price level, you're right on time. You're correct on the time frame, but you have to go up right. Yeah,
right there.
Right there from 1,000.
22.
Exactly. Yeah, it's kind of hard to describe. I wasn't sure all the way to current price. So okay.
We got professionals over here at Fresh and Fit.
All right.
Ciao,
So
Big Mo.
you can see the yellow line there is your 350-day moving average, which all that means that's your average price over pretty much the last 1 year, right? And when we're in a bull market, that area is always the cheapest price to buy Bitcoin. So you can see that Bitcoin hit that in October of 23, right? And that was when the Bitcoin spot ETF S1 filings
October.
happened.
What day in October is 2023?
Early October. But yeah, if you go, you can kind of see October
You see where it
there
almost touches the gold line right there on the left-hand side?
on the very left.
More
right
down.
there.
No, go down. Right. So follow that line.
And then go to October of 23.
A little more head, right there.
Right about there. It got close to the yellow line, right? It didn't quite touch it, but it got right there.
So this is
So
a
October
really
7th. Look, it went up from the conflict. If you guys notice, like
Uh-oh.
like it's been going up since.
Yep.
It's been going up. Like it's been going up since the conflict in the Middle East, because that's when everything kicked off, and it's just been going up and up and up since then, man.
The great
Yep.
noticing.
And you notice the last two times it touched the yellow line, right? That was the best price of the bull market. So this is one way, what do you call it? You'll know you're in a bear market is if you start going significantly below that line, right? The other thing on the opposite end of it, if you go to the top line there in April of 24, where it hit the red line.
Right there.
Yeah, right about there.
Right there. Yep.
That was a local top for that a year. We had that 6-month altcoin season from October to March. It's basically the same setup as what we're experiencing right now. So we expect a similar type of price movement. So if you go and hover over, where is the red line as of today? Can you hover over that? So that red line, basically it's the 1 year moving average times 2. And that one is at 166,000. So what has happened every single bull market, like I would say the local tops are between the green and red lines. So that's one good area to kind of consider taking profits if you got in when the prices were cheap, right?
Yep.
And you can use the price of Bitcoin to basically understand when you should be doing certain things with altcoins. When should you be buying? When should you be selling? Because they'll generally be somewhat correlated and track Bitcoin, right? And so that 166,000 at the top of every bull market where we've had the over speculative top, you can basically go above that 350 moving average times 2, which is the red line. For back, I can't remember how many bull markets back, but a few bull markets back, it was like above that line for 9 months. Then the next bull market, it was above there for 6 months. The last bull market, it was above there for like 3-4 months. So I expect if we get the craziest speculative bull market that we've gotten on Bitcoin every single time and the rest of crypto, we should go above that red line for about 2 months before the end of this year. So that's 166,000 now, but it's going up at about a $5,000 to $10,000 clip per month.
Yeah. So
then you can extrapolate out how, if we get a top in August, what would that price be? It'd be a blow off top of like 160 to 180. If it happens in January and we get like a lot more stuff happening that's bullish for crypto, then that top could be like 225, 250,000. So
the longer this runs, the more chance we have for Bitcoin to go way higher in price.
Correct. And so this is like a really simple tool that you can use to.
This is sauce right now. It's not.
Yeah.
obviously you don't just trade just 100% based
Right.
off of this.
You don't use one metric. You want to use confluence over many metrics.
Right, but it's a really good tool to just look at, like, hey, this is
It's
really
simple to
awesome.
understand.
Yeah, it's just so it's like it's a one little thing. You know what? It's touching the red right now. You know what? Let me just take a little off the table. We never tell people to sell everything.
And where we're at right now, we're between that yellow and green, which means we're basically a fair price for
Good price.
Bitcoin right
So
now.
basically, war isn't a bad thing.
No.
No,
Yeah.
it's usually opportunity, because usually the war will cause the price to go down. That's a buying opportunity, and then people figure out, oh, we overreacted. It pumps back up. You're back in profits, and then as time goes on, as things normalize and things become, because even though the Ukraine war was horrible, right? Like, we got kind of used to it essentially, right?
Yeah.
And that's the same sort of thing. Like, initially we're gonna be listening. This is gonna be kind of not old news, but it's just not going to hit as much in terms of the global markets get used to it. As long as maybe oil doesn't completely spike to craziness and last for, like, we don't have $200 oil, for a whole year or anything like that. The markets are going to do pretty well over time.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of military spending that'll happen too.
Right.
Yep. And we teach stuff like this in the course, like simple concepts. We basically okay, like, what's this data based on? That data is mainly based on moving averages, which is a technical analysis type tool. That website has a lot of absolutely free on-chain data tools as well. And then we just teach you guys, like, from basics, right? Like, we tell you first in the course